BBC News with Sue Montgomery. The Pakistani Interior Ministry says all 8 people have been rescued from a broken cable car, dangling hundreds of metres above a ravine. 6 of them were school children. Army helicopters freed one of the passengers. The remaining people were brought to safety by rescue teams using zip wires. Caroline Davies reports from Islamabad.
Shouts of joy, of God is great. This was the moment the final person was rescued from the cable car, sliding down the wire, strapped to rescuers and making it back to solid ground. Makeshift cable cars are common in the rural mountains of Pakistan. They take minutes to cross ravines, while roads take hours. Some of the children looked stunned when they escaped. Their journey to school turned to near tragedy and watched around the world. But the fears for their safety have now turned to relief after the daring rescue.
The Russian leader Vladimir Putin has told a summit of the BRICS group of nations they're on course to meet the aspirations of most of the world's people. Mr. Putin addressed the meeting, which also includes the leaders of Brazil, India, China and South Africa, by video link because of an international warrant for his arrest on war crimes charges. Nomsa Maseko in Johannesburg was listening to his speech.
He did address the summit here via pre-recorded message in which he said that the de-dollarization of BRICS member states was inevitable and irreversible. And he also spoke about strengthening trade relations within the BRICS member states as well, and also saying that it was an obligation for Russia to ensure that it does deal with reducing hunger and providing trade to poor countries, particularly African countries.
Spain's king has nominated the leader of the Conservative People's Party, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, to try to form the next government after inconclusive elections last month. If the Conservatives fail, the interim Socialist Prime Minister is expected to be invited to form a new coalition government. Guy Hedgecoe has this assessment of Mr Núñez Feijóo's chances.
It has looked very difficult ever since the election itself on July the 23rd. He won that election, but the victory wasn't as clear enough as he had hoped. And crucially, his potential allies on the political right, even they, with their votes, it doesn't give him enough seats to form a majority. So the natural ally for Mr Núñez Feijóo would be the far-right Vox party. There are really no other major parties that he can team up with. And that party performed quite poorly in the election. So together, the Conservatives and the far-right party, they still fall slightly short of a majority.
BBC News. Scientists say the wildfires which ravaged the eastern Canadian province of Quebec earlier this year were made 50% more intense as a result of climate change. The study by the World Weather Attribution Initiative also found fires of such severity were at least 7 times more likely to break out as a result of mankind's burning of fossil fuels. Quebec saw an unusually high number of fires in May and June. British police have charged a former Nigerian oil minister, Diezani Alison Madueke, with bribery offences. The UK National Crime Agency said it suspected she had accepted financial rewards in return for awarding multi-million-dollar oil and gas contracts. She denies the charges. A top Greek archaeologist has denounced the British Museum, saying it can no longer claim that Greek artefacts, like the disputed Parthenon marbles, are safe in its care. Despina Kutsoumba, director of the Association of Greek Archaeologists, was speaking to the BBC after it became clear that the museum was warned 2 years ago that items were being stolen from it and sold. She gave her reaction to the thefts, which she described as very shocking.
As Greek archaeologists, we're very much worried how many Greek items were between all these stolen items. And we want to tell the British Museum that they cannot anymore say that Greek cultural heritage is more protected in the British Museum. It is obvious that it is very well protected in Greece and not in British Museum. They have to reconsider everything, I think.
Kenya's Faith Kipyegon has become the first woman to win a third women's 1500 metres title at the World Athletics Championships. The 2 times Olympic champion led the race from start to finish. BBC News.